What's going on, family? Welcome to another episode of the Seasonal Roast Show. I am your host, and today we're here to talk about Venom: The Last Dance. So before I get into this film, let's rewind back. Earlier in the summer, when this trailer released finally, we knew the film was coming. We just didn't know what it was going to look like. It was postponed because of the writer's strike, the actor's strike, whatever. When I seen the first trailer, I just felt that I shouldn't expect much from this film. And then, of course, I was like, this can't be worse than Let There Be Carnage, so let's give this film a chance. It might not be that bad. My confirmation was when the second trailer came out and announced Knull, I knew they were just reaching at that point. It was just like they're fiending for something, like they need people's eyes to be on this film. So for those of you who don't know who Knull is the symbiote god. He's the creator of the symbiotes, right? He's not really a very well-known villain in the MCU. Well, not the MCU, in the Marvel Universe. Not like a Kingpin or a Green Goblin or most of the Spider-Man villains, but Knull is a very important Spider-Man villain. And he's a very scary Spider-Man villain. And I knew with this film that them announcing Knull in it was going to be a terrible idea. Before I get into that, I'm going to get into this film. First off, Venom: The Last Dance was probably the worst Venom film I've seen. And again, that was pretty tough because Venom: Let There Be Carnage is there. And again, they're introducing their very important character, Knull. But again, Venom: Let There Be Carnage, introducing Carnage, who is also a very important character, was terrible as well. So I don't know. I just feel like this film just didn't care. Like they had one last shot at filming this thing. They probably filmed it in less than a month. I don't feel like they spent enough time on the script at all. I just felt like they put it out there. And looking at the screenplay, I forgot the lady's name, but the director is behind the screenplay. Also, Tom Hardy is behind the screenplay. So that just let me know right there that there was no preparation for this film at all. Being that this film is something that was introducing a character like Knull, it really upsets me to the core. Meaning, and the reason why I'm saying this is because Knull, like I said, is a very important character. It's kind of like Gore the God Butcher in Thor: Love and Thunder. Introducing Gore the God Butcher in that film and actually playing out the character in that film, it just was a joke, and it didn't seem like that character was important at all. And I feel like that's where they're going with Knull. Although Knull wasn't in the film per se, but he was introduced, and I just felt like it wasn't all there. Like it's hard to explain, guys, without spoiling it. Again, I'm gonna give you guys spoilers Monday for Movie Talk Monday. But yeah, it was heartbreaking. It was hard to watch this. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It was just like the first hour, I was like, all right, when are we going to get into this? The pacing of the film was just all wrong. They didn't care at all. It just seemed like they literally filmed this film last minute and just put it out there. It didn't feel like any energy went into the script. Any energy went into the screenplay, the cinematography. Like nothing looked well, to the point where there's a scene where there's fire and Eddie Brock is laying on the ground and the fire is pixelated. Now, I didn't watch this in 3D, which I don't watch any movies that aren't shot in 3D because it's kind of a waste of my time. I'm guessing that the fire is going to be very 3D oriented, but it shouldn't look pixelated on the normal film, if that makes sense. Like there's just bad things about this film though, where I know the money, I believe the budget was about $120 million, and that's not much for a comic book film in 2024. To give you a prime example, the Marvels cost $275 million to make, which wasn't the greatest comic book film at all, but just to show you a budget of what's a comic book movie needs to be doing in 2024. $120 million. You got a couple big name guys in there. They're getting about a $5, $10, $20 million check. That money dwindles down very fast. And choosing the director, I'm pretty sure nobody cared about this film at all. They kind of just threw it to the wolves, and we got this lump of garbage. All in all, let me give you guys my rating. I'm going to rate this film 4 out of 10. I'm going to go into a little bit more of it. Actually, you know what? I haven't seen you guys in a while. Let me just do it now. Spoilers. Spoilers is coming. If you haven't seen this film, do not watch the second part of this video. This is a warning. So I hope you guys got the warning at the beginning of this video. Not the beginning, but the first half of this video, the ending of the first half of this video. I just feel like I can't explain this film much to you guys without spoiling it. So I'm going to get into spoilers, and I haven't seen you guys in a while, so we're going to talk about it all in the C's Monroe Show. I'm pretty sure we have a million other things we could talk about for Movie Talk Monday, but I want to talk about this because this is the biggest film we've had in, I don't know, since Beetlejuice. So, the Joker. We don't want to mention that. But either way, let's get into it. So at first I gave this film a 4 out of 10 in the first half of this video. I'm going to have to squeeze that down to a 3. Reason being, I just feel like this film was really that bad, and I don't want you guys to go out there and waste your money on this film. The 3D in this film was not necessary. I don't watch films that aren't filmed in 3D, but watching films enough, you kind of can tell the 3D parts, the things that they wanted to stake out to you. The fire at the end of the film, things of that nature. Hopefully that's the case. The reason why the fire was pixelated at the end of the film. Although that's not a good reasoning, I will understand it a little bit more if it stuck out a lot during the 3D scenes. So this film was just a low budget comic book film. And I know that's crazy to say when $120 million is on the line. And it kind of reminds me of Mortal Kombat, the 2021 version, being $50 million. And I just feel like they did a phenomenal job with that budget. First off, I can't wait to see the second one. Second off, I hope they give them at least $100 million budget on this one. And thirdly, Warner Bros., don't fuck this up. Let's get back into Sony though. The start of this film, we're going back into the end of Not Far From Home, No Way Home. We're going to the end of No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home, where Eddie Brock is in a bar. And this is where we're starting off this film. So in this film, it's kind of messing with the timelines a little bit. The reason being is because this takes place around 2021, 2020, somewhere around there. Reason being because the blip happened in 2018, like I want to say May, June. So that's why I'm saying his timelines are very important, because Eddie Brock kind of mentioned that he's only been Venom for a year. So that kind of throws the timeline off a little bit in certain places, if that makes sense, right? So again, if you're a regular casual moviegoer, you're not going to notice these things, but those are the type of things that I kind of get. So you're starting off this film, you're in a bar, and he's explaining to the bartender what's going on in this world as far as like the bartender is explaining to him about the superheroes. Then you get whisked back to his world, and then he's trying to talk to the bartender again, but it's the different version, or alternative version of the bartender, which again, the bartender, I guess, doesn't play a very important part, but it's kind of weird because he comes back at the end, and I'm going to explain it to you guys in a bit. But he's pretty much explaining to the bartender what's going on in his mind as far as like Venom being in his body, and Venom actually comes out to make drinks, which is probably the most cringiest scene in this film. There was just no need for it, but that's neither here nor there. Secondly, you get this task force that's there to hunt the alien life forms, so the symbiotes in this film, and they just so happen to find Eddie Brock, and all this other non-important stuff commences. But the important part is Null releases these beings. They remind me of the beings from the second Guardians of the Galaxy, the beginning of the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, that being that was there to eat the Anulax batteries or something like that. These creatures remind me of them. So Null releases them because Eddie Brock now has some type of key that combines him with Venom, and that key is needed to release Noel from this world prison. Again, it's if it sounds bad because I'm explaining it to you, it's just because it's bad. Like, honestly, it wasn't a great storyline. And I'm going to get into why a little bit later. I'm going to get into why Monday because I want to talk about Noel a little bit more. But I feel like that's what's bothering me the most about this film. But again, I'll explain Monday. After we run into these creatures, we start to realize, oh, they only can see them when Venom transforms to Venom, like altogether, like his full transformation, which I thought was another tacky thing to throw out there. And later on, we figure out that, well, not figure out, but later on, we have this scene where we're in Las Vegas and we meet Mrs. Chen and they want to dance. This is their last dance. And she dances and Eddie Brock changes into Venom. And it's like you literally are blowing your cover to dance in this moment in time. I get what they were trying to do emotionally. It just doesn't work well on the screen. It didn't work well at all. And again, it goes back to cringy, but it is not as cringy as when Venom was making drinks at the beginning of this film. There's nothing topping that. So again, the creature finds them again, and he goes into hiding. The task force that's coming to get the symbiotes or gathering up the symbiotes finds them again, and somehow the creature sneaks into this Area 51. Well, now it's Area 55. Sneaks into this Area 51 container, like area in Area 51. I'm going to just say that without being noticed. And those type of things bother me. Why is this creature, it's not small at all. Why is this 8-9 foot creature able to sneak into this facility without you guys knowing about it? But this is a facility that's highly guarded, highly protected. Just another miss in this film. Again, and that's not the worst part. We get to this point where we have all these symbiotes, and all these symbiotes have different identities, so on and so forth. This, I'm not going to go too much into. One, I don't know too much about these different symbiote identities. Reason being, when I knew about Venom and Carnage, I knew that there were other symbiotes out there, but it wasn't like flushed out or explained until like the late 2000s. So like 2008, so on and so forth. And at that time, I wasn't really reading the new stuff that much. So if it came after like 2000, 2003, I probably don't know too much about it. Besides, what was the DC? New 52. And the only reason why I read that is because I wasn't into DC as much, and I picked up DC at that time, and it was the worst decision I ever made because that was like the worst iteration of these characters I've ever seen or heard about. So I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent. Let's get back to this film. Venom: The Last Dance. So after we enter into or get to know these other symbiotes, they figure out that Venom is in the spot, and Venom pretty much bonds back with Eddie Brock after they try to kill him. The task force tries to kill him because they know if they connect together that the beings are going to get, or the beings are going to find them. So that's neither here nor there. Obviously, they didn't kill Eddie Brock. Brought him back. Venom brought him back. The creature comes out of nowhere, tries to take him out, and then one of the symbiotes pretty much protects him. He has a host. The symbiote has a host at this point, and he tries to protect Eddie Brock. He gets killed in the process. Next, there's just like this war scene in Area 51 where all these symbiotes are released, and they grab on the host and they try to defend Eddie Brock or Venom at this point. And then the being calls out for help back home to the planet that Noel is a prisoner on, and he gets reinforcement. After the reinforcement comes, they're still not able to take out none of these creatures, no matter what type of artillery they use. And somehow, some way, Venom finally connects them all together, walks them under a bath of acid pretty much, and that's how they die. by the way, he releases Eddie Brock so Eddie Brock could go on and live his life. That was the worst thing I've ever seen. Like, that was the worst ending of a character I've ever seen. And then they try to put this music at the end of the film. It was a real big pop song within like the last 3 years or so. Again, trying to drive out emotion, but it was just terribly done. It just goes to show you, like, when you force something, you can feel it. You can know it, like you can see it or feel it through the screen. Like, it's really bad. And then the ending scene, you have no ranting on about being released and killing everyone. It was just bad, guys. I don't know what Sony was thinking. I don't know why they felt the need to try to push this out there or force this out there to us. This movie is so bad, I just feel like it should have went on a streaming service. It's not even worth being at the theater. And it's projected to do about $65 million. I'm guessing it's going to make that probably a little less. I'm going to gauge at about 50, 55 at the most for the weekend. This film just wasn't worth it, guys. Save your money, stay home, or watch something else. I'm pretty sure there's other films you can watch out there. This film just wasn't it. I know you, as comic book fans, we're going to go watch the movie because it's Venom, but guys, forewarning, you're not going to like it. There's nothing to like. As much as I wanted to love this film or like this film, I knew I wasn't going to love the film. But as much as I wanted to like this film, try to be optimistic about this, I knew where we were going. I didn't know it was going to be that bad, but I knew it was going to be bad. Again, when you start seeing trailers and they start showing you things in the film that are key things for the film and you shouldn't be seeing them, it's pretty much a red flag. So just keep that in mind the next time you see a trailer and they're putting too much information in there. Now, again, if it's like a thriller and they need you to be intrigued by what's going on, of course, that's going to happen. They might put too much in there because if they put a little bit, you're not knowing what it's about. And 9 times out of 10, you're not knowing what it's about. You're probably not going to watch it. So they put extra stuff in there. With Venom, it's a very strong IP. After Spider-Man is right there, like, with it. So I just feel like at that point, it was just, they were desperate. There's no other way to say it. They were just desperate. This is probably the worst thing I've seen in a very long time. Nope. I just seen Joker 2. So this is not the worst thing I've seen in a very long time. It was the worst thing I've seen in the last 2 weeks, I guess. So again, guys, let me know your comments down below. Are you seeing Venom: The Last Dance this weekend? Go ahead and leave it in the comments if you have. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I'll see you guys Monday for Movie Talk Mondays. We're going to talk more about Noel for Movie Talk Mondays since I kind of spoiled this for you. But it had to be said, guys. I don't want you guys to go out there and spend your money on something this terrible. And I want to talk about Movie Pass too, because I just heard that they're back. So we're going to talk about that on Movie Talk Monday. I'll see you guys this Monday on Movie Talk Monday. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to the Cesar Monroe Show. See you next time. Peace.